David Baye here for MuscularDevelopment.com. We are in Pittsburgh for the 2014 NPC National Championships. I'm hanging out here with heavyweight competitor Sean Calder. Now, Sean, I actually competed against you in 2005 out in LA. Anybody who was around the bodybuilding scene knew who you were back in the mid-2000s. Took a little bit of a break. I saw your name pop up as the overall winner of the Emerald Cup this year. So huge show out on the West Coast. I'm like, oh, Sean Calder's back in town. Yeah. For everybody at MuscularDevelopment.com that's not familiar with you or kind of your backstory, tell us, what was up with the break, kind of what got you back into competing and, how you ended up here at Masters.
Sure. So I ended up taking an 8-year break because my wife and I got married. We had a couple kids. I went in the military. They put me through graduate school. I went through anesthesia school, and then I deployed a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I came back and decided to test the ground back in bodybuilding, and the Emerald Cup was my first time on stage in 8 years. So
now in that 8-year break, I mean, were you still training and kind of keeping up some size, or was it a?
No, I was training, but I wasn't really training for. I was training, but not for bodybuilding per se. It's naturally, genetically carry a lot of muscle. Sure. I don't have to, lift a whole bunch or have to eat a whole bunch to maintain it. I just took it up a notch when I decided to come back.
Okay, now as far as your contest prep, you work with somebody very familiar to the guys over at MuscularDevelopment.com, Matt Porter.
Yes.
Your first year working with Matt, as we had spoken a little bit off camera. Yes. Now, as far as the contest prep that you've done in the past versus some of the things that you've done with Matt, I know we're not going to give away too many of Matt's secrets, on camera, but can you give us just a basic breakdown of maybe of how he did things different than what you're used to doing in the past?
Sure. So Matt and I, he's watched me for years, and I've watched him grow up in bodybuilding also as a teenager. And so 11 weeks ago after the Emerald Cup, I approached him, and he's the only guy I could think of that I wanted to work with.
Right.
And so I chose him, and then we worked together as a team because he knows that I come with, a whole bunch of experience into it. And then we just the thing that changed the most was I didn't have to worry about anything. It was hands off. I let someone else do the driving, and I was in the passenger seat and just did the work. That's an unfamiliar role for me. For 18 years as competing, it was all my show. Okay. And so it was nice to just sit back and let someone else do the work. And as far as per se of, the thinking, and I just kind of gave my feedback here and there and did what I was told, which made it real easy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that always comes up when we talk about, somebody should work with a guru or they should learn their own body. And there's definitely, points that you can make on each side of the argument. Yes. And that's one of the strong points. Everybody you talk to about working with a guru, sometimes it's not a matter of I can't get in shape by myself. Sometimes it's just a stress thing or not having to worry about it. You know what, if he's going to email me my diet each week and I post it on the fridge and that's what I have to do, then it takes the stress of me, sitting there every single day of the week saying, should I add this? Should I subtract this? So, yeah, I mean, and I've seen you in your competitions in the past. Conditioning has never really been an issue, never been an issue for you. So, yeah, I definitely hear you on that. As far as, Matt's, famous cereal meals and stuff like that. Did you get any of that stuff?
No, because I don't metabolize that stuff very well. And so when we were doing the kind of what he calls refeeds, most of my stuff is fairly clean because I just metabolize it better. What the nice thing about working with Matt that I really liked was he took what I already knew and he just refined it. When we started working together, he said, I'm not going to change a whole bunch with you. I'm just going to make it a little bit better. And so that made it so that we're not, like a lot of trainers I've seen in the past, they'll take someone who's had success and they'll completely change things up. Matt came straight out of the gate, so we're going to use what you already have and we're just going to make it better. And that's what made it really nice because we worked collaboratively to make things happen.
Right, and it also speaks volumes about the fact that Matt's not throwing a cookie cutter diet at you, that he's got 6 or 8 other people on. That that's nice to hear from a guru. It's you're not getting the same diet as some other guy that's your same height and weight because that's what should work.
No, and the thing that really made a difference with him is I typically have more fat in my diet when I get ready for shows and less carbs. This time we switched it around. We add more carbs. Right. And he tends to be more carb friendly when it comes to competing. I like that. It made my training a lot more easier.
Now, as far as, we had, just kind of tossed out the height and weight thing there, sure. Talking about cookie cutter diets. Yeah. As far as your weight, you're a heavyweight here this year. How was your weight this year in comparison to where it was at before you took your break?
Well, I weighed, before I started, I was 208, and that was back in January. I decided to do the Emerald Cup. Now I weighed in at 217.
Okay.
So
Grew into the show quite a bit.
yeah. Well, especially from the Emerald Cup, just in the 11 weeks from the Emerald Cup, I've changed my physique quite a bit.
And what did you weigh in at the Emerald Cup, if you don't mind me asking?
I weighed in at 212.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm actually harder and leaner this show. So harder and leaner and 5 pounds heavier.
That's always a good thing. If you can be heavier on stage and actually be leaner, that's a hard result to not be happy with. So, I suppose, man, we're gonna let you get going. I know you made the trip over here to the interview. We appreciate your time and everything. You know, from a media person in bodybuilding, but also from just a fan of bodybuilding. Just it's good to see you back. You know, always good to see somebody, you know, back on stage. And you know that your 8-year break was a matter of, you know, balancing family life and personal and job and stuff. And it just goes to show that that the guys there can do stuff. You know, and I think, you know, some people, you know, have. You know, they get in points in their lives where they feel like they have to make this tough decision, whether it's bodybuilding or their personal life. And like we had talked a little bit before off camera, you know, bodybuilding is, you know, it's gonna kind of always gonna be there. So if you need to take a break, take care of what you need to take care of, and come back, live and proof you guys you can do that all day long. So so again, for myself and everybody at musculardevelopment.com, best of luck tomorrow. We're going to wrap it up. Once again, this is David Baye with Sean Calder at the 2014 NPC Masters National Championships.